Okay, let's dive in. We have all been there. You set a big, new, exciting goal.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's learning a language, maybe it's a new fitness plan, or getting serious about saving. And day one, you feel that amazing rush, that pure motivation. It feels incredible, right?
It does. And that feeling tells you, okay, this time it's different. This is all I need.
Exactly. But what happens, 2, maybe 3 weeks later?
Life happens. You have a bad night's sleep. Something blows up at work. Or honestly, you just get bored. The daily grind isn't exciting. And that fire is just gone.
And when the feeling goes, the action just stops. We quit, feel a bit guilty, and then we wait for that feeling to come back so we can start the whole cycle over. Why does that happen? Why do we base everything on something so flimsy?
That's really the core question our source material tackles. We've pulled from a pretty deep well of behavioral psychology.
Hmm.
And the main finding is kind of blunt.
Go on.
Motivation is real, it's useful, but it's completely unstable. Using it as your main strategy is, well, it's a terrible plan.
So our mission in this deep dive is to sort of prove that systems are better than sentiment. We want to stop chasing a feeling and start building a structure.
Right. It's about reframing the question, not how do I get motivated?
But instead, how do I make sure I do the thing even when I feel zero motivation? That change in focus is everything.
Precisely. So for part one, let's just look at this thing we call motivation. What even is it?
Yeah, give us the working definition.
So simply put, it's a feeling plus some mental energy that pushes you to act. And the research usually splits it into two camps. You have intrinsic motivation.
Which is the internal stuff.
Exactly. You do it because you actually enjoy it, you're curious, it feels meaningful, it comes from within.
And the other one is extrinsic.
That's the external push or pull. You're doing it for a reward, like money, or to avoid pressure, from your boss, or maybe out of fear. It's a prize or a punishment.
Okay, that seems clear enough, but I'm guessing it's not just about having any motivation. The sources really stress the quality of it. Tell us about self-determination theory, SDT.
This is so critical. SDT argues that the best, most resilient motivation comes when three psychological needs are met. People stick with things long-term when they feel autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
Okay, let's break those down. Autonomy.
Autonomy is the feeling of choice. You feel like you're in the driver's seat. You're doing it because you decided to, not because you're being forced or, bribed.
So it's about ownership.
Total ownership. Then there's competence.
Which sounds like just feeling like you're good at it.
It is. It's that feeling of, I can do this. If the goal is so hard that you're constantly failing, that feeling dies, and so does your motivation. You need those small wins to build that self-belief.
And the last one, relatedness. How does that fit in if I'm, say, learning an instrument by myself?
Relatedness is that feeling of connection, that you belong. Even with a solo goal, knowing there's a community out there or having a teacher to check in with, it makes you feel less alone in the struggle. And motivation that hits those three notes, choice, skill, and connection, is just so much stronger.
Right, so even if you have that high-quality intrinsic motivation, it can still fail us. Why is just relying on the feeling, any feeling, such a bad strategy?
Because it's fundamentally unstable. Motivation depends on a bunch of other things,
Like what?
like your sleep, your stress levels, your mood, your physical health. Did you just have an argument? All these things you can't really control from day to day.
So if my plan is, I'll write when I feel inspired, but I'm exhausted and stressed, the plan is useless.
It's worse than useless. It's random. And this points to a huge finding in psychology, the intention-behavior gap.
I've heard of this.
Millions of people intend to change. They genuinely want to,
Yeah.
but they just don't do it consistently. Wanting it isn't enough to cross that gap. Motivation is too weak a bridge.
I like to think of it as a starter pistol. It's great for getting you off the block, but it can't power you for the whole race.
That's a perfect analogy. It gives you that emotional kick to start, which is great. But real progress means showing up on the boring days, the frustrating days. And if that emotion is your only fuel, the car stops as soon as the feeling runs out.
So this gets us to the big reframe. If motivation is just a helpful spark, what's the engine we need instead?
The engine is a system. We have to accept that any big goal needs a system. It needs repetition, time, feedback, patience. And here's the most important line in this whole deep dive. Motivation is a feeling. A feeling is not a system.
So let's define that system. What does it look like in practice?
A system is just a simple, repeatable plan that takes the decision-making out of it. We're talking about structure. Same time, same place, same first step, and this is key, a tiny, minimum target.
And the benefit is that you don't need willpower.
Exactly. You're not thinking, you're just doing.
Yeah.
And this is where we get really practical with a tool the sources call implementation intentions, the if-then rule.
Okay, this is a really powerful one. Walk us through it.
It's one of the most tested ideas in behavioral science. You're basically preloading a decision. You link a future situation or cue to an action you want to take.
Give us the formula.
It's super simple. If this happens, then I will do this. So instead of a vague goal like, I want to study more,
Which never happened.
right, you create a rule. If it's 8 p.m., then I will study English for 10 minutes. Or if I sit down on the bus, then I will listen to an English podcast.
So you're not waiting to feel like it. The situation itself becomes the trigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
You take the daily negotiation completely out of the equation. The if becomes the automatic starter pistol for the then. It just happens.
And this ties directly into forming habits. But there's that myth, right? The 21-day rule.
Like we have to just smash that myth. It's so misleading. A landmark study tracked people and found the median time, so the middle value to make a habit feel automatic was about 66 days.
66. Wow.
And it ranged wildly. For some people, it was much longer.
So if you quit on day 30 thinking you failed the 21-day test, you might have been almost halfway there.
You're right in the middle of the process. The takeaway is that consistency is way more important than intensity. And you have to be patient.
Okay, that makes so much sense. And it leads us right into talking about our environment. Because our brains are lazy, right? They follow the path of least resistance.
Yeah, absolutely do. So your job is to become an environmental architect. You have to make the good path the easy path. This is all about reducing friction.
Give us some concrete examples of that.
Okay, so if you want to go for a run first thing in the morning, don't leave your shoes in a closet downstairs.
Right.
Reduce the friction. Put your running clothes and shoes right next to your bed the night before. All you have to do is roll over and put them on. You've removed 3 or 4 decision points.
I think the best friction reduction tip is making the starting line ridiculously easy.
It's the most powerful one. Don't plan for a 45-minute workout. Plan to put on your shoes and walk out the door. That's the win. The magic is, once you're out the door, you'll probably walk for more than 1 minute. Getting started is the hardest part.
And we can flip this on its head for bad habits.
Exactly. You increase the friction for those. If you're doom scrolling on your phone, don't rely on willpower. Willpower fails. Delete the app. Or just put your phone in another room.
Make it harder to do the wrong thing.
Make it annoying. Log out
Yeah.
of your streaming service after every use. That tiny extra step can be enough of a barrier to make you reconsider.
I love that. It's so practical. And this idea of structure leads us to something a bit deeper: identity. Shifting from what we do to who we are.
This is a huge mental shift.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I want to learn English,
Mhm.
which is an outcome,
Mhm.
you adopt an identity. I'm a person who practices English every day.
Why is that so much more powerful?
Because identity sidesteps the daily negotiation.
Yeah.
If your goal is, I want to be fit, every morning you ask, do I feel like going to the gym? But if your identity is, I am an athlete,
Then athletes go to the gym.
it's what they do. It's what they do. Skipping the workout creates a conflict with who you believe you are. So you go. You act in line with your chosen identity.
And this is where the whole thing flips. The system starts creating the feeling, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Talk about that feedback loop.
This is the magic reversal. Motivation doesn't just show up. It grows after you act.
Yeah.
Because you get proof.
Yeah.
You see, hey, I did it. I kept the promise to myself.
That goes right back to self-determination theory. Those small wins build competence.
Exactly. The action gives you proof. The proof builds competence, that feeling of, I can do this. And that feeling of competence is real, sustainable motivation. So the cycle is action, proof, motivation.
The last piece of the puzzle here is social support.
Right, which ties into that third need from SDT. Relatedness,
Yeah.
the feeling of connection.
So this isn't just about having a cheerleader.
No, it's about building accountability into your system. Get a study buddy. Have a weekly check-in with a coach. Join a class. You're making it harder to quit because you're not in it alone.
Okay, let's put it all together now by comparing the two models side by side. The trap versus the system.
Okay, first, the motivation trap cycle. It starts with a huge burst of motivation. You go hard.
Yeah.
Then inevitably, the motivation drops, so you stop. Then you feel guilty. And to start again, you need an even bigger burst of motivation to overcome that guilt. It's a draining downward spiral.
And then there's the system cycle.
This one spirals up. It starts with a tiny, simple plan. You repeat it no matter how you feel.
Because the structure is there.
Right. Repetition makes it easier. You see the proof that you're showing up, your confidence grows, and that growth creates real motivation. You actually want to do more. The system fuels itself.
This is the shift we want you, the listener, to make. So let's give them the actual usable templates.
4 simple templates you can use today. Template A is the minimum habit.
The cornerstone.
Define the absolute smallest action that counts as a win. Every day, I will do 2 minutes of X. It has to be so small that it feels silly not to do it. The point isn't the 2 minutes, it's the repetition.
Okay, template B, the if-then plan.
That's your implementation intention. If it is Q, then I will action. Be specific. If I finish dinner, then I will put my phone on the charger in the kitchen. You're programming the trigger.
Template C, the environment rule.
Design for laziness. Make the good thing easy, the bad thing hard. My notebook will stay open on my desk. You're removing the friction for the next day.
And finally, template D. And I think this one might be the most important, the recovery rule.
Absolutely. You have to plan to fail because you will. The rule is, if I miss a day, then I will restart the next day with a small version.
So one miss isn't a catastrophe.
It's normal. The research is clear. Missing once doesn't kill a habit. What kills the habit is the what the hell effect, where one miss makes you quit entirely. The recovery rule prevents that. Consistency always beats perfection.
So the core takeaway from this whole deep dive is pretty clear. Strong feelings and good intentions. They're just not enough.
They're not. What works is planning, structure, environment, and small, repeatable actions. You control your behavior through your system, not your mood.
You make the work inevitable instead of waiting to feel like doing the work.
Exactly. So here's the final thought for you to take away. If achieving any long-term goal is just the result of small, consistent, system-driven actions, what goal are you putting off right now just because you're waiting for the feeling to show up?